little bit of CGI. Luke Skywalker will probably become a bigger part of this story yet again. I think it's inevitable at this point. And it leads me to believe, and this is kind of the last topic I want to have, and we can kind of bring the Luke stuff into this. For me, and this is kind of, for me, it worked, obviously. I guess I'm in like a small minority of the people that really liked the representation of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. I think I'm in the minority of people that enjoyed it and thought that it made sense from a reasonable standpoint. I also see the other side of it where people don't want to see their hero in that type of situation. So I see both sides. I really do. So this leads me to believe, and this is kind of my crispy take, and this is something I'd like to open it up. I don't know how much time you guys have. If anyone has to leave, that's fine. Within Decade's End, I think, because there's a huge group of people out there that love the sequel trilogy. They love it. And the idea of cloning, they kind of flirted with the idea of cloning and things like that. What's that?
Huge?
What are you talking about?
The sequel trilogy?
I think there's a lot of people out there that love those movies.
Oh. There are.
Yeah, there's a huge group of people out there.
I'll get into this after Gabe is done, but because I know what Gabe's going to say, but go on.
Yeah. So the idea with, a cloned Palpatine and like cloning and all that stuff, that's not a new idea. That's been around for years and years and years. And the idea of like kind of the Empire rising back up and coming to do the thing, that's not a unrealistic thing. But I do think there is a large group of people that love the sequel trilogy in the same vein as there is a huge group of people that love things from the expanded universe that are now just legends. So do we see a type of situation where the sequel trilogy does in fact become legend? This is one way it could have gone. This is no longer canon. Do we see that ever happening? Because I personally think it probably will. Go ahead, Jace.
So you're saying episode 7, 8, and 9 being wiped away and like them redoing that. Is that what you're saying? I'm basically saying yes, that like that becomes legend. That fits into the legends category. Yes, especially with the stuff with George Lucas all going on. If George Lucas does take over, that he's wanted to reset episodes 7 through 9, I think it's a very big possibility. Like, what if the rumors we've been hearing for the past year are actually true? Then I'm no matter what news it's gonna be, it's Star Wars. Like, that's exactly how I'm not gonna go see it. Yeah, same. Go ahead, Caleb.
Look, I understand the feelings because I know that there's a large portion of the fan base that would probably want for that to be the case, including probably at least half of us here. But I don't think that we should get our hopes up for that happening because there is a large fan base for the sequel trilogy, and that large fan base is younger. They're kids. They're the same they're the same age as we were when we were growing up on the prequels, and they didn't retcon the prequels, did they? Exactly. Even though there's some definite problems with those, they didn't retcon them. They're not redoing those. Yeah. They're not going to redo these either. And, I've had people get mad at me for saying this, especially like Ethan. He hates this take. But in the end, Disney cares more about the younger viewers and the younger fans than they do the older viewers, because the younger viewers are going to be attached more to this. For some viewers, especially younger viewers, they are going to grow up on the sequel trilogy and they are going to eat that up for as long, because there's going to be a sense of nostalgia tied to that. And for them to just scrap it, I think it's just something Disney's not going to do. Not to mention how much money they've invested, how they've built different like things at Disney World and Disneyland that's all about the prequels, how they are continuing, whether it's the holiday special that they just put up on Disney Plus, and it's all those characters from the prequels. They're not going to scrap it just because there's a portion of fans that thinks that they could have done it better, and they could have done it better. There's problems with those movies, but they're probably not going to do that just because there's just too much investment there, and there is a large enough fan base where they can get in a young enough fan base to where they can get away with just leaving it be.
Well said, Caleb. Go ahead, Jace.
going off of what Caleb said, it's so true about that like it's probably very, very unlikely. But think about this. Where we're at now is basically where the prequels are when they first came out. Half the fan base was divided like, oh, this is awful or this is good. But look at them now. Like from all the work that they've done onto it, there's like a huge uprising of people that liked the prequel trilogy. Like there's so much into it that people love. There's still obviously stuff that people hate, but like there's a lot more love for it now than there was back then. So what could happen is, Dave Filoni could be like, you know what? Next animated series is going to be on like Rey, Poe, and Finn. And we're going to fix the problems that this had. And then, 10 years, 20 years go by, we're all going to love the sequel trilogy.
You never know. Go ahead, Mikey.
I feel like that is the beauty of Star Wars in a nutshell, because there is people that hate it. No matter what comes out, people are going to hate it, even if they're a devoted fan or not. So I don't think they're going to overwrite it. I don't think that's ever going to happen, because billions of dollars invested in those movies with action figures, comics, everything they've done. They've done so much backstory with Kylo Ren. Like, I mean, I never see that happening, but maybe undermining it a little bit, like with what comes out, and maybe like, okay, this happened, but here's like actual cool stuff. Sorry, Gabe, cooler stuff that happened in the background that you didn't know about that helped the overarching story. And I feel like with it, that either with what they're pushing forward now, they're either going to do that or they're just going to jump that whole story and just continue after, which I really think that'd be cool. Because, like, to be honest, I feel like at the end of the season, if they do a whole like 20, 30 years later or something, or like, maybe like 20, and like Mando's like old and like everybody and like they're still fighting for Mandalore or something, I feel like that might be too long. But I think something like a time jump is definitely possible for this coming season. I think that would be very interesting. But
well said. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I think there are ways to keep something canon and yet allow its relevance to fade and pivot and say, okay, well, let's look over here. Let's do this and let's do that. And yeah, there's really no need to like say, okay, we're going to pretend that never happened. You can just move forward and make better things. And, people can enjoy that. And, that way, you leave the less quality stuff to people who still enjoyed it. And, but you still do better going forward and let people enjoy that too.
Well said. Rex, go ahead.
Gabe, didn't you like those movies?
I loved them.
How are we getting this from you?
I loved it. I'm just saying here's the thing. Here's another thing too. A lot of questions that I ask for the podcast are simply for the entertainment of the podcast, just so you know, because I want to hear what everyone has to say.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And I also think that retcon can be a beautiful thing. I'm still going to love those movies, but do I think that they could have done them better? 1000% yes, but I wasn't going to be the person that was hating on it, because for the first time in however long we were getting new Star Wars and people were complaining, and it pissed me off. It's like, look, this, whether you like it or not, Rex, I'm talking to you, is better than nothing. And if you're pissed about it, go back and read the EU. Like, that's exactly how I feel. And I still feel that way now. As someone who's reading the EU right now, it's like, this is awesome. I see that Luke Skywalker on Ryan's screen, and I'm like, that is the dude from the comics that I am reading right now. Like, that is him standing right there. That's what I feel. And like, I'm one of the fans where I love it all. I really do. Like, there's very little things that I genuinely dislike about Star Wars, because someone's take is going to be different than mine, and I want to see what that looks like. Go ahead, Rex.
I just want to say that I would love that to actually happen, and then we could just Star Trek it, and that was like a blimp. That was a different time. What do you call it? We went down a different time path.
Alternate reality.
Yeah. Alternate reality. That didn't actually happen.
Dude, that's what I was going to go with.
That's the thing too. Yeah. They could Marvel it.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say is they could totally X-Men Days of Future Past and like go back and just wipe everything out.
Shots fired. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. Go ahead, Caleb.
I don't think that it's that bad that they have to do it.
No, it's not.
The sequel trilogy isn't as bad as X3 and X-Men Origins.
Okay.
But I do think, kind of to what Ryan said and what Jace said, I think that they're probably going to use all of these series that are coming out to try to enhance the sequel trilogy, and either move past it or enhance it as kind of, if you've watched the Clone Wars animated series, you have a newfound appreciation for the prequels. Like, it enhances those. If you watch the prequels by themselves, it's like, oh yeah, I mean, there's good there and they're enjoyable, but there's a lot of problems too. But watching the Clone Wars with it makes up for a lot of that, and it enhances the entire experience. Mikey's so mad at me right now. I'm not talking about every single little episode, Mikey.
No.
I'm talking about the general thing.
No,
But-
I just like I was.
So wait. Hold
Sorry,
on.
go ahead.
Wait.
This
No,
was
so
talking-
I
I
was-
want to ask Caleb
my
a question
point.
so bad.
My
I want to
point.
ask Caleb a question so bad.
Oh
Jace,
God.
hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
Caleb
Continue,
was
Caleb.
talking.
Please, I want to hear your point.
I'm just saying that they can try to enhance, and I think a problem that the sequel trilogy has is there's so many questions that are left unanswered. It's almost kind of like Lost, where it's just like, it's kind of unsatisfying at how many questions are left unanswered. But they can use all of these different series, either whether it's been announced or not announced yet, to answer a lot of those questions. And maybe in 10 years, they'll go back and having more information and watching the sequels, they'll feel better than what they are now, and they'll feel a little bit better. It's not a perfect solution, and it doesn't make an excuse for those movies being the quality they are. They should be better, but I think that they can salvage it by just using some other media to enhance it.
That's a great point, and I love that. And yeah, go ahead, Jace. Now proceed with the chlorophyll.
Well, now I forgot my question.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
get
I'm just
smarter.
kidding.
No, go ahead.
No, Caleb, are you a Clone Wars guy or are you a Rebels guy?
I Rebels, like, I love Rebels. Rebels is more, but that doesn't mean that I don't like Clone Wars. There's like a lot in Clone Wars that I like. Like,
No, I agree.
I
There's a lot
like
of-
both. It's just there's Clone Wars' main problem is there's a lot of filler there
Yeah.
Too
that's
much.
like detracts from it, and I think that's Mikey's problem with it.
mean,
But if you're watching like the highlights of Clone Wars, there's so much good there.
Yeah,
it
I
adds so
think-
much to the story.
I think the good in Clone Wars like heavily outweighs the good in most of Rebels. There's only like 2 episodes that like really outweigh the stuff in Clone Wars, the good in Clone Wars.
Okay.
Mike is
Rex.
so pissed at me.
Rex,
Not to
go
get
ahead.
too
This
off
isn't-
topic.
Yeah, go ahead, Rex. Let's
Not to
get
get
back. Let's rein it
too-
back in.
Oh yeah.
Not to get
sorry.
too off topic, but I like the prequels, and I think one of the reasons why I like them is because I want to be in the Old Republic, and it feels closer to the Old Republic, and so I would love going there, and that's why I can't wait for the Acolyte, and I'm gonna be pretty stoked on that one.
You mean the
Okay,
High
wait.
Republic?
No, I mean
Nah, I'm
I
just
want to
kidding.
live
I'm
in
kidding.
the
I'm
Old
joking.
Republic, but
No,
I'll
I
take
hear
the High
you.
Republic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. Go ahead, Jace.
So wait, okay. I haven't seen anything on this. Is the Acolyte, does that take place in the Old Republic? Or is it like
It takes
It's in
place.
the
where
High
does that take
Republic.
It's in the
place?
High Republic, right?
In the
Because
High
They said it was
Republic?
Old Republic.
no,
it's
because
Old-
the
High Republic, which is 200 years prior to when the prequels began.
right, yeah, exactly. So it's is that 2 or
Gotcha.
5?
It's at the height. Well, it might be 5, but it's a matter of a few centuries, but it's also centuries past the Old Republic. It's
Oh,
what they
man.
consider to be they compared the era to like when the Jedi were the Knights of the Round Table type. So-
Man, that
Cool.
completely destroys a theory that I had. I was like, how
Good.
cool would it be if the Acolyte was about Adam Driver's Kylo Ren coming from Luke Skywalker going to Snoke? I was like, how cool of a freaking show would that be? to
Not at
make-
all.
What?
Be
I
You
mean-
don't think so?
No, because there's a comic that explains Kylo Ren's entire story, like in what he
Yeah.
did.
It's
Oh
already
my
written.
gosh.
So it's
All
already
right.
been done. Jace, get good.
I
Get
mentioned it
GUD.
earlier.
Listen, so we have
Bunch of
we need to bring it back in and
nerds
end the
reading
show.
comic
We need
books.
to. You're getting muted, Jace.
Whoa.
No, I'm
Okay,
just
go
kidding.
for it.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. So we need to ring it. We need to rein it back in and try and end the show. I think everyone's making good points, and I love the passion of Star Wars. Really, I do, and I think it's amazing that an episode like this can bring out all of the the opinions and all of like, hey, the what ifs and things like that. And that's the beautiful thing about Star Wars is like, there's so many possibilities now, it seems. Where'd Jace go? Did he get his feelings hurt? I was just kidding. Jeez.
He dipped.
Crying.
Ryan, did you have something to say earlier and did someone cut you off by chance?
No, I don't think so. I think I said my piece.
You said what you had to say. Okay. Jace, yeah. Did we lose you? Where'd Jace go? Well, in any case, one final question, if we can like kind of wrap it up. Where do we see Luke Skywalker fitting into realistic? Because I know that they're not going to retcon it. You know, I just wanted to see kind of what everyone else was feeling. It would be cool. Where do we see them fitting Luke Skywalker into the story moving forward? Go ahead, Ryan.
I would expect him to be very light seasoning to the story and not feature heavily.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I agree with that.
Light seasoning.
Yeah, basically because they went the CGI route.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Right on. Jace, do you think we're going to see Luke Skywalker very heavily featured in the future?
I don't think heavily. I think he'll be like a short cameo, like maybe like in the first episode and the last episode of like certain seasons, but I don't think they're going to really utilize him as heavy as like he's going to be a main character.
Yeah.
I think we'll see him as much as we've seen Bo-Katan.
Okay. That's a good take. Yeah, I like that too. Either way, we have a ton of questions that need to be answered. You know, Luke Skywalker, what's happening with him? Luke Skywalker's attached to Grogu. Are we ever going to see Grogu again? Is he going to be in season 3 of The Mandalorian? Probably not. Where's Mandalorian find himself and all of the subsequent characters from the Mandalorian series? There's so many questions that we have to wait until Christmas Day of 2021 to get answered, to get started. Whatever possessed you to check out the podcast or the YouTube channel today, I just want to say thank you so much for doing so. If this is your first time here, I would appreciate it, if you would consider subscribing. As you can tell, it's not just me here anymore. I mean, I do stuff by myself, but the podcast is going to reside here from now on, in video form. So if you want to see more content, if you want to be notified, every time we post something, whether it be a clip, a podcast, a review, an interview, whatever it may be, if it's gaming stuff, make sure you click that bell and hit the subscribe button, and we will see you next time. Thanks for sticking around, and thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the Wannabe Critic.